Our Sashtanga pranams to Sri Sri Thakur, Sri Sri Ma and Swamiji Maharaj. Our humble pranams to Revered Maharaj. Welcome all to the next session of the discussion on lectures from Colombo to Almora. We are discussing Vedanta and Indian life. So we are using the book 33rd edition, June 2011, and we are by page number 148. So Maharaj,
ॐ जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे Yeah.
shall I start reading?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So we were at the middle of the paragraph. Perhaps we may even take in parts of Buddhism and of Jainism too, if they would come in, for our hearts are sufficiently large. But it is they that will not come in. We are ready, for upon severe analysis you will always find that the essence of Buddhism was all borrowed from the same Upanishads. Even the ethics and the so-called great and wonderful ethics of Buddhism were there word for word in some one or other of the Upanishads. And so all the good doctrines of the Jains were there, minus their vagaries. In the Upanishad,
Yeah, because again next para it changes the idea. The next line changes the idea. So here Swamiji is saying that even the Buddhism and Jainism, which is called heterodox system, also has borrowed the main ideas from the Upanishads. So the Upanishads is the bedrock of the Indian culture. That is what Swamiji will be going to prove afterwards. So why Swami Vivekananda always said, read Upanishads, read Upanishads, read Upanishads. That is the essence. That is the essence of our Indian wisdom. I mean, it is not the only essence, but it is the main essence of the Indian wisdom. That's what Swami is telling. And even we are ready to accept that. Buddhist and Jain, whether they accept Vedas or not, but still we are ready to accept them, but they are not ready to come in. Swami Vivekananda addresses them as rebellious child. In the house, sometimes 3 or 4 brothers are there. One will be rebellion son, and he don't want to accept the family. He don't want to accept parents' things. He doesn't want to accept family traditions. Though he comes from there, he gets everything from there, but he says no. So like that, Jainism and Buddhism is a rebellious children. So they don't want to accept us, but we are ready to accept them. And also Swamiji saying that even their main essence of the philosophy has been influenced by the Vedas directly or indirectly. Though they don't accept it, but it is true to larger extent. At least in Buddhism, we can see very clearly the influence of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The Sankhya and the Patanjali Yoga Sutras influence in Buddhist teachings very clearly we can see. The Yama and Niyama in the Ashtanga Yoga, whatever we speak, or Shama and Dhamma in the Vedanta we speak, that is something in their Ashtanga Marga of the Buddhism is more or less taken from there itself actually. Because the teachers of Buddha was Sankhyans actually. Sankyans and yogis. As a result, there was a heavy influence on Buddha. So we can see that. Yeah. Next.
In the Upanishads also, we find the germs of all the subsequent development of Indian religious thought. Sometimes it has been urged without any ground whatsoever that there is no ideal of bhakti in the Upanishads. Those that have been students of the Upanishads know that that is not true at all. There is enough of bhakti in every Upanishad if you will only seek for it. But many of these ideas, which are found so fully developed in later times in the Puranas and other Smritis, are only in the germ in the Upanishads. The skeleton was there as it were. It was filled in some of the Puranas, but there is not one full-grown Indian ideal that cannot be traced back to the same source, the Upanishads. Certain ludicrous attempts have been made by persons without much Upanishadic scholarship to trace bhakti to some foreign source. But as you know, these have all been proved to be failures, and all that you want of bhakti is there, even in the Samhitas, not to speak of the Upanishads. It is there, worship and love and all the rest of it. Only the ideals of bhakti are becoming higher and higher. In the
Yeah.
Samhitas,
So what did you understand here?
all the ideas are, all the knowledge of our religion is already there in Upanishads, the Puranic, Smritis, everything. It is in the Vedas actually, because in the Samhitas it is mentioned.
Yeah. Swamiji is making a very interesting statement there. Subsequent development of Indian religious thought is making. So this is a very quite interesting word. What do you mean by subsequent development of Indian religious thought? That is worship or bhakti, you can say. Then the gnana, you can say. Or from the philosophical aspect, that is Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, Advaita, Shuddhadvaita, Dvaitadvaita. And there are so many schools of philosophies have come. The subsequent philosophical thoughts, everything we can see that has been seen in the seed form in the Upanishads. So Upanishad has been considered as like a big container, which includes so many things, like a mall in the present day mall. In the mall, if you go, you will get a grocery shop, you will get a hotel, you will get a barber shop, or you will get a film theater. So everything is there. From morning to night, you can spend so much amount, so much time, and you whatever you want. Especially big malls, I'm saying that everything you can get it for your sense gratification and time killing and uh, emptying our wallet. So Upanishad also contains all the religious thoughts and philosophical thoughts in the Upanishad. That's what Swamiji is trying to tell. So when we study all these things, Swamiji is a bit academical and historical actually here. So if we are not serious and if we are not very deep, it doesn't make any sense. Why Swamiji is telling all these things? And that is the reason I think Swami Shardanji says Swami Vivekananda is highly confusing. Once he tells Bhakti is the great, and sometimes he tells Gnana is the great. So I'm getting confused. Then Yoganji says, my dear, better you come to mother. You don't have any of these confusions with mother. That's how Shardanji comes to the mother. So Yoganji introduces Sharat Maharaj, Swami Shardananji to Holy Mother. So the confusion in them itself, it was there. When we read his Swami Vivekananda's works, without a broad idea, broad preparations, when we read these things, we get a lot of confusions and a lot things goes about that, especially from the devotee's mindset. A devotee, what he thinks, what he expects, I want to be happy. I want to probably do some japa. and I want to think of God, I want to be happy, and if possible, I want to experience God, or I want to get mukti. So that's all he expects. And for that, whatever is required, if you tell you do some puja, you do some japa, or you do some seva, or you do this, you don't do this, basic things, if it is been told, that is enough for a devotee. In general, I am speaking. General broad canvas, I am speaking. But now Swamiji is speaking, everything is in Upanishad. And some accepts and some argue that there is a devotion element. There is no devotional element in Upanishads at all. There are some foreign authors who have made this statement. Keeping all these things, Swamiji is saying, when we read this, we feel it is not. I'm not concerned about all this, my dear. I'm not bothered about all these things, and it is not relevant to me. That's how it might appear at the surface level. So once you go deeply, when you read, study, understand, you will enjoy all these things. That's the reason I tell. So to understand complete works of Swami Vivekananda, especially of Colombo to Almora, you should know Indian history. You should know world history to a certain extent. You should have philosophy, basic idea of the philosophy. Then only we can understand all these things in deeper and appreciate every idea. Otherwise, it can go above the head. And so I'm just so deep, and so many thoughts probably it might be gushing in his mind, and so it is very difficult for us to comprehend. And time and again we have to read, and we have to analyze, and we have to refer back to sometimes history books or some occurrences. Then we'll be able to understand and appreciate Swamiji's thoughts. All right. So Swamiji is telling Upanishad is the source or is the container which contains all the philosophies, all the religious thoughts which is there, which we can see in the India, which even after later developments. For that, the source is what? In the Upanishads. That's what now suddenly some other school of philosophy might come tomorrow. For that, the source will be Upanishad predominantly, according to Swami Vivekananda. And he's also telling that there are people who are telling that there is no devotion at all in the Upanishad. There's the one Swamiji is making. And some others also argue, oh, in the Upanishad there is highest philosophy, fine, but it is it is thinking. It is mere imagination or mere thinking. There are no steps given to practice. But it is not so. Whoever is attending my Taittiriya classes or hearing the lectures, you can very well understand so many types of meditation techniques has been given there. But it is not so. And also one more thing I have heard from the people that, you see, in the Christianity, before starting the food, they remember the God. At the end of the food, they thank the God. They express their gratitude. They express their thanking. They express their feelings. But Upanishads is a source for our Hinduism or Indian philosophy, you say, and it is full of knowledge and full of dry philosophy. There is no scope for all these things. So from the humanistic angle, they are speaking. But if you really understand Advaita Vedanta, it is not so. Isha Vasamidam Sarvam Jat, Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. Whatever exists in this world, cover everything from the Lord means what? Cover everything means what? Experience the divine, experience that consciousness in every morsel of your food, in every part of your life, in every place. So the highest philosophy has been given. So even when you say at the end of the food, in our tradition, we say, Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Mahamai ki Jai, Jai Swamiji Maharaj ki Jai. At the end of prayer also we tell, and at the end of the food also we tell. What does it mean? Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai means what? Victory to Sri Ramakrishna. Why to victory to Sri Ramakrishna? Because of his grace, we are able to get the food. It is a thanksgiving actually. But unfortunately, most of these things are in Sanskrit, and we don't read Sanskrit, and we don't understand the meaning and significance behind all these things. That is the reason, unfortunately, we are not aware of it. So, and Swamiji is arguing that there is also devotional aspect in the Upanishad, my dear. So, whoever has studied Upanishads in seriously, they will understand. For example, in the Chandogya Upanishad, Shandilya Vidya, In discussing the Shandilya Vidya, very clearly Bhakti and Upasana has been given. And in the Kathopanishad we can see, and in the Mundakopanishad we can see, and in Shvetashvatara there is an explicit reference for Parabhakti and so on and so forth. So it is not right to say that in the Upanishads there is only Gnana, or there is mere dry intellect or mere knowledge. There is no Bhakti if you say it is not so. So I'm just telling. Probably you might have heard some of the commentators or the Western authors or people have made this comment that in Upanishads there is no steps for spiritual practices, there is no devotion there, it is mere dry intellect, dry knowledge. That is the reason, keeping that in the mind, Swamiji has given these answers. Yeah.
In the Samhita portion, now and then you find traces of a religion of fear and tribulation. In the Samhitas, now and then you find a worshipper quacking before a Varuna or some other god. Now and then you will find they are very much tortured by the idea of sin. But the Upanishads have no place for the delineation of these things. There is no religion of fear in the Upanishads. It is one of love and one of knowledge.
Yeah. Now, after giving this broad view, Swamiji is telling that he is discussing now, keeping the Upanishad as a base, he will be going to show how the Upanishad is the base for our Indian culture or our Indian different systems. Now, before that, he mentions about Samhita portion. In the Samhita portion, when you see there is a drift or there is a war between Indra and Varuna, or Varuna and Agni and all, so many foreigners, they mock at our Vedas. Your Indra himself was not complete. He himself had a humanistic defects. In Varuna, you can see. In some other deities, celestial beings, you can see. So Vedas are very low in their level, are primitive in nature. That's what many foreigners, they comment on these things. And Swamiji, I think in the Gnana Yoga lecture, how the origin of evolution of concept of God has been developed, is beautifully has dealt in the Gnana Yoga, one of the lecture. Now he is telling that though in the Samhita portion, you can see that there is some part of fear and some part of quarrel and wars and all these things are there. It is only a development, that's all, a development idea, but in reality, it is not so. Because the essence of the Upanishads is what? Fearlessness. Swami Vivekananda says, Abhi, Abhi, Abhi. Be fearless, be fearless, be fearless. That is the message of the Vedanta or the Upanishads. Swami Vivekananda tells very clearly. And there is a small portion of sin and fear and all these things. They are only references are there in the just passing by statements or whatever references, but that is not the real purport of our Upanishads. The real purport of Upanishads is what? Unity and the fearlessness, or wisdom and love in the Swami Vivekananda's words is telling. And also if you see very clearly, so there is an evolution of concept of the God actually. If you see earlier when the civilization started, when so-called, I'm not speaking in a derogative way, in the tribal culture when you say, so the gods, they don't have any particular form or anything in the small stone or a tree or a particular rock. They used to keep and worship as a god. And the gods is what? They are the masters of culture, nature. One who gives water, one who gives rain, one who gives food, one who removes the disease. Basically, one who is master over this natural energy. Okay. Then slowly if you go, then God is powerful, who is sitting on the throne like a moral governor. He is sitting in the heaven and he is holding a stick like a stick like a policeman. He is punishing the unrighteous people and is rewarding the righteous people. মানে যারা পাপ করেছে ওদেরকে শিক্ষা দিচ্ছে, আর যারা পুণ্য করেছে ওদেরকে ভালোবাসছে আর ওদেরকে সাপোর্ট করছে। So it's like a moral governor. And he also has got some defects. I mean, humanistic defects it might be. Then you go a little more further, then God is all powerful, is omniscient, is omnipresent, is omnipotent, and is ever perfect. He's perfect. There is no lacuna, there is no defect in him, but he's staying in the upper world, and but he can be present everywhere. That is the next concept. And then afterwards, if you go the Upanishads or the Advaita Vedanta, God is the only thing it exists. There is nothing else actually. So this is the beautiful evolution of the concept. God has not evolved there, so we should not get confused there. Oh, God also has been evolved like amoeba to human being. We have evolved. God also has been evolved. No, God has not evolved. Only our understanding about God has evolved. And the beauty is in one of the lecture, I don't remember where, very Swami Vivekananda beautifully, in my thesis I have dealt all these things. He has beautifully connected how the evolution of concept of God is directly linked or directly proportional to the evolution of concept of human being. How my understanding becomes better, so the understanding of God also becomes better. That's a beautiful understanding which Swami Vivekananda has one great significance actually, based on the Upanishads he has told. The evolution of concept of God in a human mind has been evolved or developed. It is also directly proportional to evolution of concept of human being. Who am I? So from that angle, Swamiji is speaking. All right. Yeah.
These Upanishads are our scriptures. They have been differently explained, and as I have told you already, whenever there is a difference between subsequent Puranika literature and the Vedas, the Puranas must give way. But it is at the same time true that as a practical result, we find ourselves 90% Puranika and 10% Vedika, even if so much as that. And we all find the most contradictory usages prevailing in our midst, and also religious opinions prevailing in our society, which scarcely have any authority in the scriptures of the Hindus, and in many cases we read in books and see with astonishment customs of the country that neither have their authority in the Vedas nor in the Smritis or Puranas, but are simply local. And yet, each ignorant villager thinks that if that little local custom dies out, he will no more remain a Hindu. In his mind, Vedantism and these little local customs have been indissolubly identified. In reading the scriptures, it is hard for him to understand that what he is doing has not the sanction of the scriptures, and that the giving up of them will not hurt him at all, but on the other hand will make him a better man.
Yeah.
Yes. So here it is said that the practical conflict between the followers of Vedanta and the followers of Puranas. We are, howsoever we say that Shruti Praman uh, is correct over or is better than Puranas, we follow Puranas and local
Okay.
custom.
So, yeah, Swamiji has taken a very important problem or issue of a Hindu life. Now, Swamiji discussed that Vedas are our primary scriptures. All our philosophies are based on Vedas, and particularly philosophies on Upanishads. How much ever we say, but all our local customs, in part of puja or in part of rituals, you say, or with the festivals, you say, or whatever you say, it is how much are we are sorry, we are Vedic and we are based on our Vedas. We all argue that we link everything with the Veda. Oh, Veda, eta Veda te bola hoche bola. So everything is told in Veda. We make this statement, but it is not so. It is based on either Puranas or even not Puranas. It is a local custom. I will give 2-3 examples. Probably you will understand. Now, typically, when little after my joining, I think, when I came to know that in Bengal, especially, and in some parts of northern India, the marriage happens in night. Now, southern part of India, all the marriages happens daytime. I was wondering why marriages happens in night. That doesn't make any sense because I mean, even in the Smrutis also, they won't give. I mean, some events you might happen, some special or some rituals you might do, but the main marriage happening night is not generally encouraged by our Puranic literature or Smrutis and all. The Dharma Shastras basically. But I see very clearly in Bengal and northern part of India mainly, or if not all, quite a few parts, in northern part of India and eastern part of India, marriage happens at night. Why? Oh, Amaderata tradition. Or it is told in Vedas, it is told in scriptures. We keep commenting. We keep giving references, but it is not so. Why it has happened, because Muslim rule was there. Whenever there are like this type of festivals or whenever the occasions are there, unfortunately, the soldier is to come and used to grab or kidnap the Hindu woman. They used to take away, they used to snatch, grab and take away. As a result, they had to protect the woman. As a result, our forefathers, keeping the security issue in the mind, they started doing the marriages at night. So it was a social necessity or political necessity. It is nothing to do with the Vedas, or it is nothing to do with the Upanishads. It is nothing to do with the Puranas, or it is nothing to do with even Dharma Shastras actually. So this is very important. And probably one more thing I can tell you is what in Bengal there is a saying that any Durga Puja, anything, Brahman Sharir, Brahman Sharir, Brahman Sharir, they tell. Tumhara Brahman Sharir na ki means by birth are you Brahmin? That's what the Bengalis they ask. If then only you can do Durga Puja, otherwise no. Now the Vedas itself gives the right for Trivarnikas and even all the Manusmruti, Yagnavalkya Smruti and all. Then I was wondering why in Bengal, why always they give only for Brahmin only, why not for others? Kshatriya Vaishya can also do it, why not? Then when I researched, then I understood, because Bengal follows Raghunandana Smruti. Predominantly Bengal follows Raghunandana Smruti. In Raghunandana Smruti, Raghunandana has mentioned that in this Kali Yuga our minds are so down, at least some purity you can see only in Brahmins, not with others. So as a result, he states directly or indirectly, only Brahmins can worship, main worships basically. So that they have taken, and that's where Bengali, the culture has been done, only Brahmins has to do worship. Now, whether it is right or wrong, whether it should be done, it should not be done, I'm not going into any details, but you see, it is all local customs, which is called Deshachara. Is all this there? Deshachara only. Now, when you come to southern part of India, where when you give a banana leaf, because you don't get much banana leaf in their north, and that's the reason. When you say banana leaf, they say the small portion of the banana leaf or the end portion of the banana leaf should be always in the left. So when the children, without knowing, they will put in a place, and the elders used to scold us. Oh, the little portion of the banana leaf is to be always on the left. You don't know the tradition. What is this and all? Why? Oh, because our Vedas say so. We have heard from our granny and grandma or uncles and all. Then what to do? Okay, we follow. And there is also a particular tradition of food serving. First, we have to serve, from the left, we have to start salt, then pickle, then raita, then curry, then little payas, then rice portion in the middle, and papad in the right or left end and all. If we misplace, then we used to get scoldings. And the same thing I see in Bengal particularly, there is also a particular style of serving the food. And even, I think once or twice when I was helping Durga Puja food keeping, then one senior monk told, I think you don't know where to keep. You have kept chachadi in a chutney place, in chutney place you have kept stew, in stew place you have kept dal and all. I said, it is everywhere here only. What is there to take it? I don't think there will be a problem to Mother Durga or Kartik. No, no. It is he scolded and he asked me to put in a particular place. So whether it is told in Vedas, no. Whether it is told in Puranas, no. Whether it is told in Smritis, no. It is only all usage. Now in banana leaf, because the small portion, if it goes to the left side and all the side item, it is being served, the main portion of the food, that is rice and sambar or the lemon rice or the any bath or anything to eat it, the major portion of the leaf, which is bigger in size, which comes to your right side, and there will be a place to serve, and it is easy for us to eat. So it is only, for the functionality point of view, usage point of view, they have done. But unfortunately, our forefathers, they didn't teach us. They said, it is a tradition, it is a rule, you have to do it. And one more thing, I think very well I remember, after the barber shop, when we go to barber shop and we come, immediately mother or granny used to tell, you should not touch even screen and mat. Immediately we were supposed to enter the bathroom. And they were never allowed even for us to, of course, nowadays everything is in shower, so that doesn't matter. But in the olden days, we used to have the cooking like a hot pot, and we are supposed to take the water from that place. And our granny and mother never used to touch that. We were supposed to sit in a corner, they pour water on us, then whole body should get nicely drenched in the water. Then they will give a tamarind, and we used to apply tamarind on the body, whether you like it or not. Then again they will put little more water. Then afterwards, we are supposed to we can test the water to have bath for ourselves. Then we used to tell, what is this? All superstitions, nonsense. Why do you all do this? What is this and all? But now slowly, when I started thinking myself, later days, then I understood it is nothing but scientific. Because nowadays everything has come mission and they change the blades and other things. In the olden days, there was a knife, same knife the barber used to use, everyone for shaving and other things. So there can be infection. So as it is, and also while cutting, they never used to clean the hairs as we clean now. So the hairs may be there, the hairs might fall here and there. As a result, granny or our forefather said, you go directly to bathroom, not to go here and there. And they used to put water so that whatever the remnant hairs are there, let it go away. And applying tamarind so that if any cut has happened, any infection, if it comes, let there no be infection. So this was so scientific, but unfortunately we mixed with our religion. We link it to Vedas, we link it to Puranas, we link it to our scriptures, and we lost it actually. Or we missed the, the rationale behind all these things. That's what Swamiji is telling very clearly. And our granny or we ourselves, we feel, my mother used to tell, you after going to Ramakrishna Ashrama, you spoiled our caste. My mother used to scold her. Why? Because we come from traditional family. We cannot go and eat in anyone's house. That was their belief and all. Because we don't know whether they have taken bath or not before cooking. And some of the people will be taking non-veg, and we are not supposed to take non-veg. We don't take non-veg. So if you go and eat in their house, our religion will go away. So all our religion was confined to cooking part, our kitchen, our food. But once I came to contact with Ramakrishna Ashram and Thakur Swamiji and all, I always used to feel whoever is pure and whoever is good, that is enough. Whether they belong to any caste, whether they eat veg or non-veg. Though I don't eat non-veg, but I should not be the concern or case. So if they give any food, I used to eat and come. And when mother and granny, they used to come to know, they used to scold me. Oh, you are spoiling our religion, you are spoiling our house, etc., etc. See, this is what Swamiji is saying, that's how all our grannies and grandmas and ourselves, we have confined our religion with the local customs, and we are connecting these local customs to Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, and that has become the main portion of our religion, which is not true. And if you study Vedas, if you study Upanishads, if you study our scriptures, there is no, if not all, many of them, there is no link. For example, I always make a fun, in Bengal, aloo is a Brahman and potol is a Maya. Why in Belur Math? Because vegetables will be costly in summer. First 6 months, we used to get afternoon aloo potol sambar and potol aloo sabji. So based on that, I used to make a fun. In the Belur Math, Brahman is what aloo and Maya is what potol. mean, it is an availability and cost effective. They have done, that's all. Now, southern part of India, if you ask, they say that you should not eat potatoes every day, otherwise you might get rheumatism. Now, so in Bengal, without potato, nothing is possible. And southern part of India, they say if you eat potato, rheumatism will come. Now, who is right? Who is wrong? Who is scientific? Who is unscientific? It is all availability on the food, and based on the geography, based on the availability of food, all these customs were made. So without thinking this, without knowing these things, then we think, oh, then we don't get potato, and then we don't make potato curry for offering to Mother Durga. We feel, Are, Mother Durga will be unhappy. If at all, for argument's sake, I'm saying that. No, it is not so. So Swami just beautifully has hit on the nail how we are thinking wrongly and how we are wrongly attributing our religious practices to our Vedas and scriptures. It is all nonsense. We have to come out from this. Yeah, because these things are quite natural for all of us. That's the reason I took a little more time to explain.
Secondly, there is other difficulty. These scriptures of ours have been very vast. We read in the Mahabhashya of Patanjali, that great philosophical work, that the Samaveda had 1000 branches. Where are they all? Nobody knows. So, with each of the Vedas, the major portion of these books have disappeared, and it is only the minor portion that remains to us. They were all taken charge of by particular families, and either these families die out or were killed under foreign persecution or somehow became extinct. And with them, that branch of the learning of the Vedas they took charge of became extinct also. This fact we ought to remember, as it always forms the sheet anchor in the hands of those who want to preach anything new or to defend anything even against the Vedas. Wherever in India there is a discussion between local custom and the Shrutis, and wherever it is pointed out that the local custom is against the scriptures, the argument that is forwarded is that it is not that the customs existed in the branch of the Shrutis which has become extinct and so has been a recognized one. In the
Yeah.
midst So, most part of the Vedas are lost due to family die-out or foreign persecution. So that is one point. And second is that the local authorities claim the validity of the custom from those lost branches.
No, you have to understand very clearly here. No, Vedas are not lost. The shakas, it is called. Technically, it is called shakas. Shakas means branches. The branches of the Vedas have been lost. And for that, see, quite interestingly how Swamiji studies so deep. Swamiji is quoting the reference made by Patanjali in his Mahabhashya, that is his commentary on the Ashtadhyayi. Now it goes all of them above the head, I know. Now, what is this Ashtadhyayi? Ashtadhyayi is a Sanskrit work written by Panini himself. Okay, Panini's Ashtadhyayi. The Sanskrit grammar text is what called Ashtadhyayi. For that, there is a commentary which is called Mahabhashya. Mahabhashya means it is great in number, big in size. That's the reason. In that commentary, to that Ashtadhyayi Grantha, to the text, there is a mention. What is that mention? Saptadvipa Vasarti Trayalokas Chatvaro Vedaha I think Angaha Sarhastaya Bahuda. I think 1 minute, just I will see. Saptadvipa Vasumati Trayolokas Chatvaro Vedaha Sangaha Saharasya Bahuda Binnaha Ekaschatamardvayur Shakaha Sahasravartmaha Samavedaha. Anyhow, the meaning goes like this. Saptadvipa. Saptadvipa. Vasumati. Vasumati means in the earth. Saptadvipa means there are 7 islands. So that is Jambudvipa, then Plaksha, Shalmali, Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka, or Pushkara. Or in the present day, you can say 7 continents. So there are 7 continents, okay? And Traya Lokaha. You can say Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Maharloka, or the earth, heaven, and the Patala Loka. Here. Then we had, then Chatvara Veda, then 4 Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, you know. And Anga and Rahasyaha. Anga means here 6 systems of Vedas, that is, 6 limbs of Vedas, Vedangas. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, and Jyotisha. Then Rahasya means Upanishad here. Then Bahuda Vibhinnaha. And they had a lot of branches. And for an example, Ekas Chatam Advaryu Shaka. For an example, for Yajurveda itself, Advaryu is one who knows Yajurveda. So, the Yajurveda itself, there was 101 branches. Then Sahasravartma Samavedaha, thousands for the Samaveda. I hope now you understand. So, giving this reference, Swamiji is saying that there were so many branches. These branches are what? These branches were interpretation of the Vedas. That's the one thing. And the other role of the branches were the rituals were different. The rituals, the meditation techniques, and the interpretations, the way of understanding the Vedas and Upanishads were different from, if not all, some places. It is not that entirely different, but some places basically. This is what Swamiji is telling. So it was there, all these things. So, and for an example, in the Rigveda, we had 21 shakas. But unfortunately, now we have got just 1 or 2 shakas. In the Yajurveda, we had 101 shakas, branches. We have got only 6 now. In the Samaveda, there were thousands or 1,000 at least. Now only 3 are available. Then in the Atharvana Veda, there were 9 branches and only 2 are available. And that's what Swamiji is telling. There were so many and we have lost it, many things. And keeping that then place, the people comment, okay, this particular tradition is not been referred to, or there is no reference in Vedas. If you say, then people say, oh no, we have lost many branches. Probably in one of the branches, this tradition would have been there. Like that, people link to the shakas. That's what Swamiji is trying to say here. Yeah. All right. If you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer now.
So, Maharaj, this paragraph part is reading in English.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
In this paragraph, 2-3 lines are left.
Okay, to finish it off then. Okay.
In the midst of all these varying methods of reading and commenting on our scriptures, it is very difficult indeed to find the thread that runs through all of them. For we become convinced at once that there must be some common ground underlying all these varying divisions and subdivisions. There must be harmony, a common plan upon which all these little bits of buildings have been constructed, some basis common to this apparently hopeless mass of confusion which we call our religion. Otherwise, it could not have stood so long, it could not have endured so long.
Yeah.
So that means there are some basis are there in these customs, as you said, may not be religious, may be social, but because otherwise it would not lasted this anymore.
Yeah, Swami is telling that apparently it might appear that there are a lot of branches, lot of differences, lot of contradictory ideas in between the scriptures and the Indian scriptures. But if there was no common ground, we could not have existed unitedly. Like, say, like people say that at least they don't read, I know that, but still they make. Swamiji, if the Christians wants to read scripture, they don't have problem. They've got only one scripture, that is Bible. Though there are some other secondary texts, but they have only one Bible. And if the Muslims want to read, they have got only one scripture, that is what Quran. Then the Sikhs wants to read, then Guru Nanak's teachings are there, Guru Granth Sahib only. But when you, if I want to read as a being a Hindu, we have got Upanishads, we have got Vedas, we have got Puranas, we have got Ramayana, we have got Mahabharata, then Bhagavata, then Upapuranas, then so many other. Then which to read? I get confused. That is the reason better not to read, I say. This is a wrong conclusion. Then I say, whichever book you want, any scripture you take, read, understand, assimilate in your life, there is no problem. So among all these things, there are commonalities. Vedas are our sources, no doubt, and there are so many textbooks we have got. Then apart from that, Tantras have come, Agamas have come, Nigamas have come, then Bhagavata school, they have got their independent scriptures. Then Kashmiri Shaivism, they have got their own scriptures. So many mass of scriptures will be there. There may be, apparently may be contradictory, but underneath there is a common ground which is uniting all that. If you understand that, then you'll be able to understand the Hinduism and you'll be able to appreciate it. That's what trying. So Anji's intention is what? Trying to make this all differences is there, it exists, it apparently he's trying to explain, and afterwards he will come to that point saying that there is a commonality among all them. Try to understand. That is what our Vedanta or Hinduism. Swamiji will be ending in that actually. And how can we put into practice is also quite interestingly Swamiji will discuss.
So, Maharaj, what is the example of Nigama Shastra? Which are Nigama Shastra?
Yeah, this Agama and Nigama is always a bit, what do you say, confusing. I mean, contextually, we have to understand this Agama and Nigama because Nigama, see, in one place, Nigama means it is a Vedic stream. It is nothing but Vedas. Okay. Then Agamas means it is like a Tantric and Kashmir Shaivism or the Tantra Shastras are of Agamas. This is a Shaivagama, Shaktagama, Vaishnavagama, all these things. And Nigama means Vedas. This is a one way of explanation. The other explanation is what? Whichever has been told by Shiva and where mother listens and Shiva tells, that is Nigama. And wherever mother tells and Shiva listens, and that is Agamas. This is another way of differentiation is there. So these are the parallel systems developed in India. That's what I can say. Tantra, though, I mean, there are two opinions. Tantras, some say that it is an independent system, and of course, its roots are in Vedas, no doubt, but it developed almost parallel system, Tantras.
One more curiosity after three passages here that Das Suparna Sajuja Shakaya, that is quoted. So can you just chant it, how it is chanted?
That is, we still were to come there, no?
Means I just want to hear the chanting, how it is chanted.
Okay, it comes in Mundaka Upanishad.
Yes.
Yeah, Mundaka Upanishad. I think in the third chapter, I think it comes in the Tritiya Adhyaya. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishasvajate Tayoranyah Pippalam Swat Attannashannanyano Abhichakashiti. That's the first one mantra. Second is Samane Vrukshe Purusho Nimagna अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यति अनमीशमस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः.
That Swadvatva, that Sandhi, can you break?
Which one?
The second line, Swadvatvanasnanat, no.
No, first mantra, first paragraph, first mantra,
second line. That Tayoranna Pippalam Syad
Dvasuparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishasvajate Tayoranyah Pippalam Swat
Ityan
Pippalam
Ashnan.
Swadu. Sorry, I think Pippalam Swadu it becomes. Yeah, there is a Vruddhi Sandhi there. Tayoranyah Pippalam Swadu.
Atyan Ashnan.
Atyanashnan Anyo Abhichakashiti.
Atyanashnan Anyo Abhichakashiti.
Atyanashnan.
Atyanashnan.
Atti Anashnan. Atyanashnan.
Atti Anashnan. Atyashnan.
Atti Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. Atti Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti.
Anya, this that double N comes for the Banjan Sandhi, na? Ananya.
Anashnan Anyaha.
Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. Kairanna Pipyalam Syade Atyanashnan.
Atyanashnan. Either you read it as Atyanashnan or you read it as Atti Anashnan.
Atyanashnan.
Atyanashnan. It is a tongue twister there. Atyanashnan.
Atyanashnan.
No. You are in between. Sorry. Now you are missing. Atyashnan you are telling. Atyanashnan. 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 Atyanashnan.
Atyanashnan. No.
Atyashnan, it is becoming Atyanashnan. Otherwise, you do like this. Atti Anashnan.
Atyanashnan. Atti Anashnan. Atyanashnan is correct.
Is it becoming too heavy? For others, I am asking. খুব হেভি হয়ে যাচ্ছে মহারাজ, এগুলো তো খুব হেভি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, মাথার উপরে যাচ্ছে, আপনি যা বলছেন আমাদের তো
মহারাজ
করার পরে সহজ হয়ে যাচ্ছে, নিজেরা পড়লে কঠিন লাগে।
Heavy is coming, Maharaj, after this, when we will be discussing this Jivatma, Paramatma, Mundak Upanishad, Kathopanishad, this sloka there.
Now, see, philosophy understanding may be interesting for many, but when it comes historical and other things and all, it can be a bit boring for people. That's what I'm asking. I mean, I enjoy, no doubt, but I don't know whether everyone enjoys, so that I can make it lighter if not.
I don't know. I think everybody is...
No, it's fine, Maharaj. It's interesting, but I just want to know, Maharaj, here is one place, he says, Samhita portions. What is the meaning?
Yeah. So, the Veda has been divided into 4 parts. Okay. The Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, then Upanishads. So Samhita contains the eulogy, that is praising the Indra, Varuna, Rudra, or Devi, Durga, maybe like Durga Sukta we say, Narayan Sukta we say, Purusha Sukta we chant, mantra pushpam we chant. All these things are part of Samhita. Samhitas is what? Nothing but praising the celestial beings. That is what Samhita is, the portion of the Vedas which contains the mantras we use in the Vedic sacrifices. Then the Brahmana portion comes. Brahmana portion contains the ritualistic details: how to perform yajna, how to perform the build the sacrifices, altars, and how to after the what do you say, the sequence of doing the offerings. All these things being given in Brahmana. Then the same yagnas, the actions, the havana, homa, havana, yagna, whatever you say, that has been internalized through meditation techniques. That we can see in Brahmana. In Brahmana, that has become meditation techniques. From action-oriented life, they became meditative-oriented life, contemplative life. Then Upanishads comes, then they do pure thinking. Who am I? Who is this God? And what about this world? And what is my relation to the God, to that other person, to the animals, to this nature? And where was I before birth? Where will I go after death? Will I survive or not? All these philosophical questions is a part of Upanishadical discussions, by more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So if anybody else is having any question, you can just ask or raise your hand. And Maharaj, when will be the next class?
Yeah. 15th we can have. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Bye.
Yeah. Namaste.
Pranam.
Thank you, Maharaj.